Hey guys, this is Skinless, guild leader for the Alliance Guardians, and today we're going to be looking at the journey guide, which he's not necessarily going to always be available, but we are looking at the epic confrontation for Darth Malak. So this is going to usually be the first epic confrontation we're going to be doing based upon when it was released, as well as the availability for it. Gas is the only other one at this time. However, let's go ahead and pop into this and we'll take a quick look and see kind of how we set this initially up. So with Darth Malak, you're going to need a total of 10 characters in order to unlock him. So you have to have characters from when you unlocked Darth Revan and characters from when you unlocked Jedi Knight Revan to participate in the event, along with the characters that you've earned, those being the named ones. Some people decide that they'd like to use Jahani or they would like to use T3. However, I found that the most positive lineup is going to specifically be the ones you see right in front of you, where you're going to be using the kind of the more ideal, I guess, Old Republic and Sith Empire for your lineups. So if we are looking at kind of where you would be starting, since we want to make sure that we cover everything from top to bottom, let's go ahead and start off with Dark Side and kind of go from there. Now, I have quite a few Gear 13s here. When I say quite a few, I mean 3, but I do have some Gear 13s involved. Initially, when this first came out, Gear 13 was not in the game. You do not need your characters to be Gear 13. And the prerequisites requirement is that your tunes are going to be at least at the amount of 17,500 GP in order to participate in the event. So we'll pull up some information. I'm going to show you all the mods that I'm using specifically, as well as what we're going to show there, so you can see the strategy and everything that goes along with it. As far as for the characters, you can do it at a lot lower gear, and I'll kind of explain that as we go through, depending upon what we're looking at. So starting off with Dark Side, we're going to look at Darth Revan. So Darth Revan, I've gone ahead and I've taken to R5. I do recommend having all 3 of his Zetas. However, some individuals do go in without the Conquer Zeta in there, so it just depends upon what you're preferring to do. I definitely recommend at least getting getting all the Zetas on him is definitely an investment that's worth it. I beat it the first time when he was Gear 12 with plus 1 piece on him initially. So my Darth Revan is modded extremely well, where I have a 338 speed. Darth Revan is really your carrying tune for this entire match, essentially. So if you have a really strong Darth Revan, and then you pair him with an extremely strong Bastilla Fallen, you pretty much just need those 2 tunes in order to beat the event. So when we pull her up, I've gone ahead and I've gone with an unconventional setup with the offense, since I want to have more damage on her. And speed-wise, she's 261. The goal is to try to get her around 300 usually, but you can beat this with a lot lower. So this is kind of just giving you an idea of what we're using as we go through this here. I do have the Zeta on her, another Zeta that's very highly recommended, not needed for this event. Her Zeta is really well with other Sith leaders. HK47 is another wonderful tune to definitely relic if you get the opportunity, specifically because of the amount of offense and damage output that you're going to get from him. But again, he does not have to be very well geared in order to do this. Neither does he need the Zetas. They're just kind of a plus to have, because when I've got him here, yeah, he's a little bit slow as far as for the 219, but he does have the nice physical and special offense on him. And then when we go into the remaining 2 individuals for this, I end up using Karth as well as Canderous. So my Karth is going to be looking like this here. I actually have put on maybe 1 piece since I initially unlocked Darth Revan back in the day. So he really doesn't have to be well geared. I do like his Zeta as a leader, but it is definitely not required for this event as he's not going to be in the leader slot. It does help you get to the 17,500 mark though. And looking at his mods here, we're going to have 208 speed and not too much for health and protection, but again, he's not really going to be meeting too much inside of this battle here. And then we're going to go ahead and pull up Canderous. And with Canderous, we have an offense set with some protection, and he's sitting pretty slow at 185, but he does have a crud ton of protection and health, which keeps him survivable while he applies the debuffs that he needs to apply, basically serving his individual function. So you don't need to have your characters here at these points necessarily in order to beat this. I initially beat this with a Gear 12 Canderous, but I didn't have any of the additional pieces. He was 12 plus 0, and then I had the 6-dot mods just to get him just barely above the mark to make it in, so no Zeta required. And then for Karth, I was able to leave him at Gear 11 without a problem there. So now there's nothing wrong with Juhani or 2-3, it's just not my cup of tea and something I don't definitely recommend for this event. Now, in the event that you are looking to understand this a little bit more before you really walk in the door, we're going to talk a little bit about what exactly you can expect from Darth Malak, and otherwise, though, you can go ahead and skip along to the video itself, and this part won't matter as much to you, but you want to kind of understand the fact that as Malak goes through the battle, he has the ability to heal himself, he has the ability to increase cooldowns, he has the ability to do a lot of different negative options, especially when you have him taking tubes from the field there. So you'll definitely want to take a look at his kit so you can understand really what you exactly are facing rather than just walking right into the door. Now, I mean, that's always nice to be able to walk in and just be able to beat everything, but with these kinds of things, it can get a little crazy. So now that we've gone ahead and gone over mods, let's go ahead and take a look at the actual event itself. So let's go ahead and start off by looking at the dark side path here. With the event, only the very first time you complete this will you receive shards for Malak. Anytime that you repeat this event, which is repeatable at any point, you will not earn any additional shards. So you end up earning a 5-star Malak by the time that you finish both sides, and then the rest of it you get by GET1. The only time that we've ever received shards was the Malak meltdown, but outside of that, it's a one and done kind of thing. So a lot of people don't try to replay these, but they're kind of fun to do so. Looking at dark side here, it's already preset with Darth Revan in my leader position, and then my tunes that will work just fine. So popping into the actual event here, you'll see we've got a little bit of dialogue to start. There is a lot of information to take in right here, and as always, is what I have mentioned in my videos, when you're looking for lore, you're looking for stuff to learn about and understand, there are a lot of different speech bubbles to look at. So starting off with like Malak here, if you have not read his kit already, I definitely highly recommend it. You've got information about his kit here as far as for a little bit of lore. Then you also have the abilities on the enemies. So you have the person here where it's just stating that if you destroy them, you get to gain 3 stacks of ferocity for the robots there on the sides. And then as far as for Malak goes, he does have the counter, he can't be counter attacked while any captive Jedis are active. So the captive Jedis are going to be the guys here in these tubes, as we'll call them. Now the tubes have an interesting aspect of what they play in the game, or in this match specifically, as each one has a different, I guess, a statistic that they are part of. So you have over on the very far end on the right hand side, you have tenacity. So with this tube, if you were to select this here, you can state that you can see what happens if the boss takes this tube, and in the event that the player takes this tube. So there is a strategy to which tubes you want the enemy to take. and which ones that you want to destroy. Tenacity is one that I want them to always take, whereas I don't want them to take the critical damage, as what I need the crit for stuff in another one. In this one here, you can go ahead and really usually beat it without actually having to take down any of the tubes. So I always tend to start off here by throwing my lightning out. So this is going to affect everybody, remember. So even the guys in the tubes, they have a health percentage that you have to watch, but what happens is their health percentage is based upon what's going on with Malak. So you want to keep a close eye on that. And we end up, for the most part, going back and forth between these droids. So I'm going to go ahead and start kind of taking down some of the tubes here on the sides, since I don't want to get him down on health yet. The best way to do this is going to be whichever tube you want Malak to take is going to be the one that you get to be at the lowest health, because he's going to end up absorbing that individual one when the time comes. So as we continue killing things, we're getting additional stacks of ferocity. We're going through and setting ourselves up essentially for when the time comes to actually take down Malak himself. So at first, you're not going to be in a spot where you're going to really be taking him, as he's going to be a bit too powerful. You need to get additional buffs. Revan just gets stronger and stronger as this goes around. If you have them all gear 12 or basic requirements, you should easily be able to make this fight last a bit longer. And actually, the longer the fight lasts, the better your odds usually are. So right here, I've demonstrated that he's gone ahead and taken the tube. So now he has the full tenacity. So that way, I cannot inflict debuffs on Darth Malak, which in turn actually means that I'm not getting fear spread around to my team. So it's actually a positive thing to allow him to take that. Now, if we're going to be addressing the tubes on the left-hand side, there is going to be the Dark Infusion tube, which Dark Infusion is going to be adding a whole lot of buffs specifically to Darth Revan if he takes it. Specifically in this case, let's see if I can get it to pull up here. Let's see, Dark Infusion, it has a 35% offense per stack, max 5 stacks, so he gets a shit ton of offense added in, and then the healing immunity, so you really don't want him to have additional stacks of that. This being said, this is another tube that we can go ahead and try to make sure that we take out before he has a chance to. This is where I will stop using any AoEs, and I will begin to use my basics. Now, in this scenario, because I got stuck, I had to let him take that tube, which is unfortunate. Now, you can get around that by planning, by making sure that your lowest, power on a Jedi is on the one that you want him to take, or the one that you're willing to let him take more than any other. Right now, we got stuck in a scenario where he got to take 3 tubes. So this is not exactly always ideal, but the higher gear you have, the better scenario you're going to be in. Now, if you have a lower gear, this could be a bad scenario for you. The only tubes you really want him to take, if any, are going to be the one on the very far right hand side, and then I will occasionally let him take the tube on the very far left hand side, again, occasionally, but it's really going to depend upon what you can make happen. So in this instance, you can see where Revan really carried the entire thing, so he's a solid investment, and I definitely highly recommend taking him to gear 13 as you're going for this event, and that will get you your first set of Malak shards there. So whether you're watching my dark side version, my light side version, or the combined version, either way, I do hope that this has been a excellent help to getting you your Malak shards that you've been looking forward to and building for quite a while. And if you have questions, always feel free to reach out. I do put my information in the YouTube videos. Give it a like if you like the content, and subscribe if you enjoy seeing the other things that I do here. And always feel free to make suggestions. I always appreciate that. So, as always, I appreciate all my viewers, and Skinless is out.